Hello, welcome to Magic Mythal. Um, my name is Corey, or Pinwarp2 here on Twitch. I DM a live stream game here of Tomb of Annihilation every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for a group of players. We just started this new campaign. We're on session 2. So we've got brand new level 1 characters. We've just been in, I think, a single combat, so you haven't missed very much. We do post all of our streams on YouTube, youtube.com/pinwarp. So if you're interested in watching that, you can follow the channel, turn on notifications, you'll see when we go live. And you can catch up on past episodes on YouTube as well, or here on Twitch in the video section. With that out of the way, this video here, I'm going to be just looking into the most recent release from Wizards, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. I've looked at some previews, I haven't really dove into it, but I'm going to do that here. Now, we play using the Fantasy Grounds Unity virtual tabletop from Smiteworks. So all of my digital content is stored in there. So specifically, I don't have the hardcover of Tasha's, but I do have the full release version of the Fantasy Grounds Unity module. So it has everything that the book has. It's just set up for use in Fantasy Grounds. So that's specifically what I'm going to be going through and reviewing. So without any further ado, let's dive into it. So I've loaded up the modules into Fantasy Grounds here. And I've just pulled it up in reference. So you can see in my library, I've got all the different books here on the left. Fantasy Grounds has split up Tasha's Cauldron into the full version and then a player's version. So I can specify what content in either of these books the players that connect to my game have access to. So I'm not sure what the difference is. I'll take a look later to see what the difference is, but I'm just going to be going through the full version. So they've split it up into convenient links for images, the tables, classes, equipment, magic item templates, magic items, NPCs, spells, and then the reference manual is just the full, like, page by page manual. And I think that's how I'm going to be going through it. So let's first take a look. So this is the cover image for the virtual version. So this is, I guess, just the artwork on the inside page. It's I don't know what this is. It's supposed to be like a flying cauldron. I guess it must be Tasha's Cauldron. Yeah, that would make sense. It looks kind of like something out of Beauty and the Beast. But yeah, there's that. So we'll flip forward. We've got our credits here. This is the actual cover image showing Tasha. It's really nice art. I really like this cover image. It says this book contains content that originally appeared in Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, Eberron Rising from the Last War, and Mythic Odysseys of Theros. So they have collected some of the player options probably from those 4 books and kind of combined it into here, as well as a whole bunch of Unearthed Arcana and that kind of thing. So this is the normal cover, and then Casting a Bubbling Brew by Magali Villano. Good artist. I really like this image. It's really cool. And then down below we have the alternate cover. Can we make this bigger? Yeah. So this is the alternate cover that you can only get if you pick up in the store, in like your local game store. It's a special edition cover. A lot of the times I really like the special edition cover, like the Tome of the Frost Maiden was really, and Descent into Avernus special covers were really cool, and actually preferred them to the main book's covers. But this one, I don't know, something about the style doesn't jive with me. It's cool. It's not bad art. It's definitely good art, but I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of like the color schemes and the weird like leaves or whatever they are and things. I much prefer this one here. I just really like the aesthetic of this one. Well done. Anyways, just my thoughts. randomly my headset's shutting down. Disclaimer, I always love their disclaimers on books. Contained herein are the observations of the Archmage Tasha, later known as the Witch Queen, and then Igwilv. She is one of the greatest wizards in the history of the multiverse. We fear there is an incantation hidden within these notes, and have therefore bound this tome with powerful wards. If you are reading this, the first word has already been broken. If you dare read any further, we cannot guarantee the safety of your soul, or that you won't open a portal to another plane of existence. If a portal does appear, pray that nothing worse than Tasha's mother Baba Yaga appears, and if the mother of hags does arrive, be sure to offer only praises of her daughter, or offer muffins. She loves muffins. A lot of people miss these, but I love the disclaimers in all their books. Okay, let's dive in here. Ooh. Credits. Okay, using this book. So what do we got? We got 4 chapters. I'm not going to read through everything. I'll read through it on my own, but this is just an overview. So chapter 1, what you'll find within brims with new features and subclasses for the classes in the player's handbook, presents the Artificer class and new feats. Chapter 2 contains patrons who can become one of the driving forces behind your group's adventures. I'm interested in this, especially for a new campaign. They're just starting to meet some NPCs that are offering quests and represent different factions and things, and I feel like the patron system might be something I might start using, so that might be interesting. And I've already told my players that anything that releases in this book, if it's different than like the Unearthed Arcana or whatever came before, this is going to override it. And if there's something in here that they didn't know they could take at level 1, they can certainly switch things up. I don't mind. It's early in the campaign. Chapter 3 has new magical options, spells, spellbooks, artifacts, and magic-infused tattoos. That might be interesting for one of my players. He's playing a ranger half-orc, but we're using the witchcraft rules for crafting. So this may be interesting because he's interested in doing like body art and tattoos and face painting and stuff. So hopefully there'll be some magic-infused tattoo stuff that might be cool for his character. And then various rules we may incorporate in the campaign. Rules on sidekicks, who level up with players, supernatural environments, collection of puzzles. It's all optional. Yeah. Unearthed Arcana, sure. 10 rules to remember. The DM educates the rules. Exceptions supersede general, advantage and disadvantage, reaction timing, proficiency bonus action spells, concentration, temporary hit points, round down and have fun. So this is just a reminder of some of the rules a lot of people often forget. I guess they just have listed here. So, sure, I knew all of these. Got a nice little picture of Tasha written in a book. Character options. So here we go. Chapter 1. We have Tasha sitting with her little chicken-legged hut. Oh, outside of the hut of her mother, Baba Yaga. When you make a character, you have a array of options. We have a way to customize character origins, guidance on changing subclass, Artificer class, the class features and subclasses for every class, and feats. So customizing your origin. So this is new stuff. At first level, you can choose aspects of your character, including ability scores, race, class, and background. These help paint a picture. Sure, ability score increases. You get a trait called ability score increase. This influences, yeah. So, for example, if you're a dwarf, you get con increased by 2. This increase doesn't apply, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so here's the new stuff. So if you'd like your character to follow their own path, you can ignore the ability score increase trait and assign ability scores increases tailored to your character. Take any ability score increase you gain in your race or subrace and apply it to an ability score of your choice. If you gain more than 1, you can't apply those increases to the same ability, and you can't go above 20. For example, if you get a con 2 and wisdom 1, you can instead take intelligence 2 and charisma 1. It's super basic, and frankly, this should have been in just a rule. They should remove, like, it's fine to say dwarves are usually tough, blah, 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 but this should have been always the case. Like, they should just say, like, you roll your dice and then you add, like, 2 to one score and 1 to another, or whatever. Like, locking them into specific, it pigeonholes your character into specific classes, and it plays into, like min-maxing. which people can do anyways. And there is an argument to say, well, I can min-max better now because I can take the racial traits that I like and still get the bonus that I like to abilities. That, sure. But anyways, fine, easy, balanced. Languages, essentially, if you get a language at level 1 or through background, you can swap it for another language. Easy. Important is that it specifies the DM can add or remove languages. In my new campaign, I think I've got like 6 or 7 languages that don't appear in the player's handbook. They're specific to that campaign, which my players can undertake and learn, given time, or spending the resources to do so. So just to add some flavor to the campaign. Proficiencies. Some races and sub-races grant proficiencies. These are usually cultural. Your character might not have a connection to the culture, and you can replace these. Oh, okay. I didn't know they were doing this. Or maybe I did. I think I did. So if they get a proficiency in a skill from race, you can instead swap it for another skill, just straight across the board. So if you get survival, you can just take medicine. Makes sense. If you get proficiency in armor, you can instead swap it for a simple or martial weapon proficiency or a tool proficiency. Simple weapon, you can swap for another simple weapon or tool. Martial weapon, you can swap for a simple or martial or tool. And a tool, you can swap for a tool or a simple weapon. Okay, so this is balanced because you can't just swap tool proficiencies for like martial weapon proficiencies if you wouldn't get it otherwise. So it's fine. This is all good. Good stuff. Okay, and then custom lineage. Instead of choosing one of the game's races, you can use the following traits to represent lineage, giving you full control. So creature type, you're a humanoid. You determine your appearance and whether you resemble any of your kin. Size can be small or medium, your choice. Speed, 30. Ability scores, one of your scores increases by 2. Feat, you gain 1 feat of your choice. Variable trait, you gain one of the following options of your choice. A, dark vision, of course, because they give everything dark vision. Or B, proficiency in a skill. Language, you get common in one other language. So essentially they can just say whatever you want to be. You want to be like a talking fox man, if that's not a thing, sure, just use this as a baseline, which is fine. It essentially gives you guidelines for balancing creation of custom races. So sure. But again, Wizards loves to hand out dark vision like candy to everything. And then personality, of course, is completely up to the characters, so that's fine. So this is all, I mean, it seems so basic, but having it codified in a book like this will prevent those rule sticklers. I mean, obviously the DM can just say, we're not using Tasha's, but none of this breaks the game. It's perfect. It's good. Changing a skill. Sometimes you pick a skill that ends up not being very useful in the campaign or no longer fits your character. In those cases, talk to your DM about replacing the skill with another skill offered it by your class at first level. A convenient time for such a change is when you reach a level that grants you ability score. Sure. This I think I'll allow. So anytime you would gain an ability score increase / feat, because we're using feats in my campaign, you can also change a skill. Now, of course, I would obviously have the kind of qualification that if you've been using that skill constantly and just decide to switch it out because now you think another skill will be more important because of where you are or whatever, I don't think I would allow that. It doesn't make sense for you randomly to lose a skill you've been using the entire campaign. But if you have a skill you've like rolled once on or haven't rolled in a couple levels and you just never use it, but you have been trying to roleplay learning about another thing, like maybe you've been really interested in religion and you don't have religion but you have medicine, but you haven't rolled any medicine checks, etc., etc., then I would allow a swap. So good stuff. It's just roleplay requirements, you know. Changing your subclass. Changing your subclass. Okay, what is this? Each character class involves the choice of a subclass at first, second, or third level. Sure. Specialization area. With your DM's approval, you can change your subclass when you would normally gain a new subclass feature. If you decide to make this change, choose another subclass that belongs to your class and replace all of your old subclass features with the features of the new class that are your level and lower. It's, I I guess if you're really not enjoying a subclass and you thought you would, but this, I don't know, it seems weird, a little weird to just suddenly, I'm not, oh, you thought I was a Golemancer? No, I'm actually a Chronomancer. Like, But it does say training time. To change your subclass, the DM might require you to spend time devoted to the transition as you study the new ways. The transition requires a number of days equal to twice your new level. A number of days. So that's too short. I get they want to make it easier. But it's like, okay, I'm level 20 wizard. I'm going to switch wholesale my entire subclass, all of my features of my subclass. Or, even worse, cleric. I'm a cleric of Morden. I've been light domain for 20 levels, but I'm just going to take a month off and completely change my entire adventuring career's worth of abilities, my entire faith in my deity. Or a warlock, I'm just going to change my pact. Like, I guess to me, it's like if you really want to play a different character that's that different, why don't you just retire your character and roll a new character? You know, like I don't want to be a cleric of Morden anymore, even though I've been playing one for 12 levels. I'd much rather be a completely different type of cleric for a completely different god. It's like, okay, well, why don't you retire that character and then just create a new character that is that class that you want to be? Like, it seems unnecessary for retraining. I can get at low level, like say you take your subclass at second level, you play a few sessions, and you're going to get an ability on the next level, and you say, you know what, this is really not fun, but I love my character background. I can kind of see like early on, but later on, I don't know if I would allow this. Might also require expenditure of money. 100 gold pieces times your new level. Maybe some sort of quest. Like, yeah, if you role play it out really well, but it's not just a swap at level up, and there's a time, money, and like RP quest requirement. If you return to a subclass that you previously held, you forego the gold. Yeah, so you can just swap back. Okay. So, sudden change. Sometimes a character undergoes a dramatic transformation when a character experiences a profound self-realization or faces an entity or place of overwhelming power, beauty, or terror. The DM might allow an immediate subclass change. A few examples. So a paladin failing their oath, becoming like an oath breaker, or changing their oath because something happens. A wizard lies down in a dream. Cleric of war domain has spent years in conflict. One day she wanders into a sun-dappled glade where God once shed a tear for mercy. See this? Okay. I mean, thinking it over more, as long as you really devote the RP to it, and the training time, the cost, and it makes sense in the world, it's not broken. As long as people don't do it just because they, oh, we're going into the fire temple. Well, I'm going to switch to forge domain, so I'm resistant to, or so I'm immune to fire. So let's take a month off so I can retrain, and then when we get out, we'll take 2 weeks off and switch back with no cost. Haha. That I wouldn't allow. But RP wise, it would make sense to allow this. And okay. It's all about flexibility, I guess. Okay, so then we jump into Artificer. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Suffice to say that one of my players is playing an Artificer. I don't know if this supersedes any of his abilities because I think he pulled his Artificer from the Eberron book. They're probably the same. I really like the Artificer class. It's really cool. I'm not going to go through all of it, but essentially they use like gadgets and magic items and infuse their and their allies' gear with special abilities and that kind of thing. So a quick overview of Artificer. They get infusions, and they can infuse a certain number of items that increases as they level up. They do get spell casting. I think it's a half casting. Yeah, they get up to 5th level spells, like a half caster, so they have cantrips and spells in addition to their infusions, and then their class abilities. Their abilities, so they're D8, so they're pretty hardy, a little hardier than, they're about the same as clerics. They get armor and shield proficiencies, simple weapons. They have thieves' tools, so they can actually pick locks, which is neat. Other than rogue, I think this is the only class that gets thieves' tool proficiency. Con and intelligence saving throws. Get some skills, blah blah blah. They get some equipment. Class features. So they get magical tinkering. First level artificer. You've learned how to invest a spark of magic into a mundane object. To use this ability, you must have thieves' tools or artisan tools. You can then touch a tiny object as an action and give it one of the following properties: sheds light, emits a recorded message, emits a choice of odor or non-verbal sound, static effect appears. The chosen property lasts indefinitely. You can bestow magic on multiple objects, touching one object each time, though a single object can only bear one property. The maximum number you can affect at one time is equal to your intelligence mod. Okay, so I think this magical tinkering is what my player Jonah is using to create his magic wands. So he's just giving them some of these abilities that last not for very long. I mean, they last forever, but eventually, as he keeps doing it, the old ones are going to lose their power. So they're kind of like temporary wands that do like neat little effects, and he tries to sell them. It's really fun thing, and it's just kind of like a flavor thing. It doesn't do a lot. I mean, you can get like a little bit of light, but it's worse than light cantrip, etc. Spellcasting. So you need just your tools as your spellcasting focus. You get some cantrips. You prepare and cast spells. So you can prepare from the list of Artificer spells that are available for you to cast. When you do so, blah blah blah. So yeah, they prepare their spells kind of like a cleric, I think. And you prepare a certain amount of them, and they're locked in. And then spellcasting ability is intelligence, just like wizards. So we finally get another intelligence spellcasting class. Most of them are charisma for some reason. They get rituals. They have a bunch of spells. I'm not obviously going to go through them all, but here they are. They get a bunch of different spells. They get infusions. Infusions are the ability to put magical effects into items. So you get a certain amount that you start with, and then you get more. And you can, whenever you finish a long rest, you can touch a non-magical object and imbue it with an infusion, turning it into a magic item. An infusion works on only certain kinds of objects, so each infusion does different things. If the item requires attunement, you can attune yourself to it the instant you infuse it. Remains indefinitely. When you die, it vanishes after a certain number of days. You can infuse more than one non-magical object at the end. The maximum number of objects appears in the infused item column. You must touch each of the objects. Yeah, so essentially, like early on, at level 2, you're going to get 4 different infusions, but you can only have 2 items infused at once. So there is a limit to, but you can swap those infusions out. So you can make like 4 magic items essentially, which is really neat. And then we'll go past the spells here. Then they get specialist, alchemist, armor, artillerist, battlesmith, different things, a bunch of things as they level up. Spell storing items, etc. Magic item savant. This is really cool. At 14th level, artificers can attune up to 5 magic items. They can have 5 magic items attuned. That's so good. And you ignore all class, race, spell, and level requirements on attuning to or using an item. This is so good. It's fantastic. And then it gets even better. At 18th, you can attune up to 6. And at 20th, you have developed a mystical connection you can draw on. You gain a +1 bonus to all saving throws per item you are tuned to, which remember can be up to 6. So +6 to all saving throws. If you reduce to 0 hit points, you can use your reaction to end one of your infusions, which keeps you alive. It's fantastic. Okay. Anyways, that's the Artificer. There's different specialists. I'm not going to go through them all, but you can be an alchemist. You can be an armorer. There's a weird picture of like power armor, lightning gauntlets, but still, it's cool. You can be an artillerist, cannons and shit. You can be a battlesmith, so you can create like steel guardians and stuff. It's cool stuff. And then they get a bunch of infusions. So just a couple of examples. They can do like Boots of the Winding Path. You can teleport 15 feet as a bonus action. So, but they must have occupied this space, so they can kind of run and then teleport back, which is kind of neat. Enhanced defense, just give a +1. Enhanced weapon. Self-awareness, make homunculus, all sorts of neat things. You can replicate a magic item. Oh, okay. This is interesting. At 2nd level, he can create a bag of holding. Wow. So at 2nd level, he can make an alchemy jug, a bag of holding, a water breathing cap, goggles of night, a rope of climbing, sending stones, a wand of magic detection, or wand of secrets. Wow. And I mean, obviously, you only get so many, but that's interesting. Good stuff. All right, so class features. What else do we got? We got Barbarians. So what is this? So Barbarians, optional class features. So essentially you can just swap these out instead of the ones you would get. You can use these instead. So these features can be selected separately. You can use them one, both, or none. So at level 3, instead of what you normally get, you can take Primal Knowledge, gain proficiency in a skill. Okay. Or at 7th level, you can do an Instinctive Pounce. Okay. Primal Path, you can be Path of the Beast. So this is like kind of werewolfy kind of stuff. Path of Wild Magic. Okay, so you can like learn about magic, and then wild magic effects happen when you rage and stuff. It's neat. Okay, bards. Okay, I'm not gonna go through all of these, but there's all these like subclass stuffs. I'll just go through the ones I actually have characters playing. I think we don't have a cleric in the party. New domains. We don't have druid. Don't have druid. Fighter. Optional class features for fighters. We do have a fighter. Blind fighting. You can have blind sight with a range of 10 feet. So that's powerful. Interception. So it's a tanking thing. You can intercept. Superior technique. You can get Battlemaster things. Thrown weapons. Unarmed fighting. Martial versatility at 4th level. Instead of an ability score, you can instead replace a fighting style with another one. And if you know maneuvers, you can replace maneuver. Okay, actually that's an addition too. Okay, you can get different maneuvers, different things to do in combat. It's cool. Martial archetypes, you can do a psionic warrior. That's cool. It's a cool picture. And then the Roon Knight is what one of my players I think is planning on taking, unless he changes his mind. You can learn to speak, read, and write giant. and you get a bunch of runes, which is kind of neat. In my previous campaign, I created my own rune system for the giant runes. It was Storm King's Thunder, but this kind of replicates that on a smaller scale, personal scale for the character. That's neat. Different battle master builds. Basically, it just tells you, okay, if you want to be like a fight like a hoplite, you should take these maneuvers and these fighting styles and these feats, and then you can fight like a hoplite. This is fantastic. Putting this in, because you can figure out this stuff yourself, but sometimes people they don't see how everything fits together into a full picture. Like if someone says, okay, how do I be a duelist exactly? What's the best way to be a duelist? Well, they're saying, well, take dueling and two-weapon fighting as your fighting styles. Take evasive footwork, feintings, lungings, parrying, precision attacks, and riposte as your maneuvers. And then take defensive duelist, dual wielders, observant, savage attacker, and weapon master. And then you are like the epitome of that one-on-one dueling style. And same thing with like, how to be a shock trooper. Well, I'll take great weapon fighting, take these, take heavy armor, charger, and you're like a shock troop. Yeah, this is really good. It was always there, but this allows you to be like, okay, I'm going to build a skirmisher, and it tells you, well, if you want to do that, take these. It's good. This is good stuff. Monk. We do have a monk in our party, so you can train a bunch of different weapons. Focus your chi. Oh, you can create. Yeah, other than heavy weapons, you can make anything a monk weapon. Okay. Chi fueled attack, quickened healing, focused aim. Neat stuff. The Way of Mercy, manipulate the life force. Oh, this is the healing. Is it not? Yeah, this is the healing path for monks. Way of Mercy. It's neat. Way of the Astral Self. I think this is what my player Andre is playing. Is the Way of the Astral Self monk, I think. Maybe it's not. Arms. Yeah, no, it is. I believe so. Get like these ghostly arms and project yourself into that. Yeah, this is definitely what he was looking at playing. Cool stuff. We've got some paladin stuff. Oath of Glory. Oath of the Watchers. Got some ranger stuff. So I do have a ranger in my... So optional class features. So Deft Explorer replaces Natural Explorer. You are unsurpassed both in wilderness and dealing with others. You gain the canny benefit below. You gain an additional benefit when you get 6. So you get double proficiency. You get expertise in one of your skills. And 2 extra languages. You get walking speed increased by 5. You get a climb and a swim speed. Tireless. Oh. Okay. I'll have to talk with Ryan about this, because Tireless is supposed to be a 10th level ranger ability. You get Canny at first level, you get Roving, then you get Tireless. This, instead of the Natural Explorer feature, you get these. You don't get it all at level 1. We will definitely have to adjust that. Favored Foe. Replaces Favored Enemy feature and works with the Foe Slayer. So instead of Favored Enemy, you get Favored Foe. When you hit a creature with an attack roll, you call on your mystical bond to mark the target for a minute. Hey, how are you, Lisa? So this, yeah, this is a big thing, and I think Ryan's probably not gonna be happy about this, but yeah, Tireless is supposed to be a 10th level ranger ability. He doesn't get all 3 of these at level 1. We are going to have to make an adjustment. I thought Tireless was really good for a level 1 ability. Yeah, I thought that was really good. And 1d8 plus Wisdom equal times, yeah. Still really good. Like, it's way better than Natural Explorer. Natural Explorer was not super good. Deft Explorer is way better, getting these 3 abilities. Especially this. Roving is really good. Get 5-foot speed is nice. It just basically allows you to ignore being lightly encumbered, or just be faster. Gain a climb speed and a swim speed. That is fantastic. Gaining climb and swim. It's really good. Which means you don't have any. You get there's no disadvantages for fighting underwater because you have a swim speed. You can climb without making athletics checks. This is really good. It's a fantastic ability. Probably overlooked because it's not like that super good. But even in combat, being able to swim or climb in combat can get you around. It's really good stuff. Tireless. Yeah, that's powerful. 2 extra languages and double proficiency at first level. It's really good. So I assume he would take double survival and then 2 extra languages. That's good too. Favored foe. So how does this work? When you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can call on a mystical bond to mark your target for a minute or until you lose concentration. The first time on each of your turns you hit the enemy and deal damage, including when you mark it, you can increase that by a d4. You can use this feature to mark a favorite enemy a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. You gain all expended uses. This feature extra damage increases when you reach certain levels in this class. Okay. And this replaces favorite enemy, favorite foe. Okay. Seems reasonable. Additional ranger spells. Okay, some extra spells, whatever. Fighting style, blind fighting, druidic warrior, get some cantrips. Thrown weapon fighting. You can draw a weapon that is thrown and part of it. In addition, when you hit with ranged attack, you gain +2 damage. This is interesting. For his character, using javelins and bolas and things, he might want to consider taking thrown weapon fighting. Because I think... Wait, do rangers get a second fighting style? Because I know he has great weapon. Or does he have great weapon? I can't remember what he was doing. Polearm mastery? I can't remember what he's doing, but might be something he might be interested in. Primal Awareness. You can focus your awareness on in connection with nature. You learn additional spells. Okay, so instead of having the ability to just concentrate and know, like, oh, there's undead within 2 miles of us or whatever it is, or being able to sense different things, instead of doing that, you can gain additional spells that don't count against the spells you know. I mean, I don't know. Personally, I mean, it's fine, but I personally, oh, okay, here we go. You can cast each of these spells once without expending a spell slot. So it's not only an extra spell known, it's an extra spell slot to cast the spell with. Okay, so that's good. That's better than Primal Awareness. Good stuff. 4th level ranger, you can replace a fighting style. Sure, fine. Nature's Veil replaces hide in plain sight. You draw on the powers of nature to hide yourself. As a bonus action, you can become invisible until the start of your next turn. Whew. I mean, hide in plain sight, yeah, this is way better. In combat, anyways, this is way better. Hide in plain sight was good outside of combat, but it was very limited. Okay. So I'll have to talk with Ryan about the ranger changes. Actually, well, I'm going to keep going through the book. I'll look at that later, but okay. Ranger archetypes. We got a Fey Wanderer, which is sure you get like Charm Person, Misty Step and stuff. Feywild gifts and things. That's cool stuff. Swarm Keeper is all about having swarms and that kind of stuff. You get like bees and shit. It's kind of neat. Beastmaster, additional companions. We got rogue stuff. I'm not. We don't have a rogue in the party, so I'm not going to go through this right now. But this. Oh, they brought the soul knife back. Neat. Yeah, I like this for Ranger. I think this is better than the UA. I think this is more balanced and better than the UA. As far as the Deft Explorer, how it works, and the favorite foe, I'm not totally on board with. I kind of like just being able to use Hunter's Mark for free without using spell slots. I kind of like that better than this. So yeah, but the Deft Explorer, Natural Explorer changes, like this is way I think it should be. This is good. The favored foe was kind of like a little underwhelming. I liked how the other one was. And the additional spells and fighting styles are all fine. So rogues get Phantom. What's a Phantom? Ooh. It's like a ghostly rogue can do phantomy things. Cool. Soul knives stab people in the brain like Psylocke from the X-Men. Good stuff. I'm surprised they made Soul Knife a rogue class. I always pictured Soul Knife as more of a monk class, but I mean, that's just me. I don't know why. Sorcerer. Here's a bunch of spells that sorcerers can get. Eat. Meta magic options seeking spell. What's this? You can spend 2 sorcery points to re-roll. Oh, good. Let's give lucky to sorcerers. Fuck. I really don't like. I really don't like re-roll after you know the result abilities. I just don't like them. I don't like them. Anyways, that's just me. Just because it's just so easy to like cheat out a natural one. Like, I don't know. I haven't looked at the spell list, but I assume yes. I don't see why not. Transmuted Spell. When you cast a spell that deals damage, you can spend a sorcery point to change the damage. Good. It's good stuff. Fourth level Sorcerer feature. When you reach a level that grants ability, you can do one of the following. Replace one of the options of meta magic. Yep. Replace a cantrip with another cantrip. Sure. Good stuff. You can tap your inner wellspring of magic to conjure success from failure. When you make an ability check that fails, you can spend a... Why? Why do they keep giving people lucky? Anyways, I don't like it, but whatever, it's not broken, it's fine. Especially for only 1 sorcery point. Like, I get people don't like to fail rolls, but sometimes the story is better when you don't just succeed on every roll and have options to constantly wait until you fail to re-roll. Like, come on. Anyways. Aberrant Mind. Tentacles, psychic powers, beat people up with your psionic sorcerer tentacly stuff. Seems kind of neat. Like I said, I'm not going through all of it. Clockwork Soul. What is this? I haven't seen this one. Cosmic Forces of Mechanus. Ooh. Get a bunch of spells. So, okay, so did they go back and add special spell lists for the existing subclasses of Sorcerer? Yeah, but avoiding badness, like, oh, that's okay. I'll just wait until I roll my nat 1, or I'll wait until it's really important, and I never fail, and I always know what I want because I'll just save it for those what I think is important. It's fine if people just like use them constantly, but to me, it's like most of those abilities should be before you know if you pass or fail. You can use it to reroll, which obviously not ones you know is a fail, so it doesn't matter. But for skills, you don't know if you pass or fail because there's no such thing as an auto fail on skills. I don't know. I don't know. Just my thought. Anyways, it's fine. Uh, bu- 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 bu. If they didn't add spell lists like this to the existing sorcerer subclasses, they missed the boat. Yeah, that's the fact that they didn't do that, even in like an errata or something. Like this is what how yeah, like a storm sorcerer should have a list like this with a bunch of like stormy spells. Bugs me that they didn't do that because it's obviously the way that sorcerers should have. They should have an expanded spell list with like thematically appropriate spells from the other classes. Anyways. Yeah, call lightning. How does a storm sorcerer not be able to call lightning or control the weather? It makes no sense. Arrgh. Okay, moving along. Clockwork Soul, I don't know what this is supposed to do. I guess you're just like this super order guy. Lesson 1, beep boop. Okay. Um, it's not my cup of tea, but I'm sure somebody would want to play like Robot Man that's all like clockwork. I don't know. It's not really Robot Man, it's just weird. Okay, moving along. Warlock. What does they give to Warlocks? They got a bunch of spells. Cool. Pact Boon. Pact of the Talisman. What's this? Your patron gives you an amulet or a talisman. When the warrior fails an ability check, you can add D4 to the roll. See, I'd rather have this. I'd rather have these type of abilities. Like, oh, you fail, you can spend points to gain. Like the monk one, it's like if you miss, you can spend points to gain a +2. It's not a reroll. It's like here, have an extra D4, like have a temporary bless. Those kind of things I think are better because A, they don't negate the nat ones, and B, they still have the purpose of allowing you to succeed when you would have failed, but without being so good. Anyways. Yeah, I mean, if you like clocks, Mechanist is cool. I know. I had I'm totally digressing here, but I had a campaign where there was the Clockwork Empire came through from the plane of Mechanus, and they actually like took over like an entire country on the material plane, and the entire country was like full of like these like clockwork spiders and like weird like clockwork contraptions that were like annihilating uh like the local life and like causing all sorts of I was gonna say causing all sorts of chaos, which is ironic because it was very much law-based creatures. But I can't remember the name of it. It was like the Clockwork Empire of something, and it totally took over. One of my players, actually, Chris was playing a wizard, and his body there was like there was weird like time travel shenanigans, and when they went back in time and changed things, they came back to the present. And one of the countries they had accidentally left this like clockwork creature behind in the past, and it had like replicated and like took over this entire country. And then when he came back, Chris's character, his wizard, his body had been replaced by like a half clockwork contraption, but when he jumped from the past to the future, like his soul re-inhabited this clockwork body, so it was like this golem man. Anyways, it was a weird campaign. Okay, Pact of the Talisman. So you get a talisman and you can do stuff with it. Cool. When you reach levels, you can change some stuffs. Okay. Eldritch Options, Bonds, Eldritch Minds, Far Scribes, Investments. I mean, I don't know. It gives you abilities. That sounds good. What's this? The Fathomless Patrons. I like patrons. Oh, neat. This reminds me of like Crit Roll, like Ukatoa, right? The Fathomless Entity of the Ocean. This is like what's the dude in N'Zoth? It's like this like weird like otherworldly sea elemental tentacles and shit. So sure, that's cool. The Genie, you can a pact with a Genie. That's cool. I wonder if you can do it with an Ifrit instead. Have a pact with Tariq the Magnificent. Can't believe you guys didn't let him out, by the way. Anyways. Cool, you get Genie stuff. Wizards, here we go. What's a wizards get to do? You gain class features. Here we go. Additional wizard spells expands because the wizard needs an expanded spell list. Yep, they need more spells definitely. That's not enough. Like 400 or whatever they have now is not enough. Let's add another like 30. Cantrip formulas. Formulas? You have scribed a set of arcane formulas, formulated cantrip. Whenever you finish a long rest, consult the formulas. You can replace a cantrip with another cantrip from the wizard spell list. But I assume you have to learn the cantrip into your spellbook first. So you don't just get them all, right? Like you start with whatever ones you know, and then when you get more, you can. It's like it makes sense. It's just like learning spells. Wizards should be able to learn more cantrips. It makes sense. Okay, blade singing. Oh, they did a blade singer? Really? Neat. I don't think it's unclear. It literally says you have scribed a set of arcane formulas in your spellbook. So if you haven't done that, you can't learn them. It's just like scribing a spell in your spellbook. It says scribed a set of arcane formulas. That's like scribing a spell. I would say it works exactly like learning a new spell. If you find a cantrip formula, you scribe it in your spellbook. From then on, you can swap it out. Sure, but they can be in other wizard spellbooks. So I assume when you learn your cantrips from your level, when you're level 1, you have them all in a spellbook. Your cantrips are in there, right? So if you find another spellbook, they might have cantrips that they knew, and they'll be in their spellbook. So essentially, they're just saying cantrips work like spells when it comes to the spellbook for wizards. Cantrips aren't just like innate knowledge; they're like actually in your spellbook now. So that's exactly how I read it. So that's how I would rule it as well. You don't just learn them out of the blue, pop. Unless, of course, your class gives you like an extra cantrip known, then of course that would then pop into your head, and just like you gain like a spell a level or whatever the hell, however wizards do it. But for learning things outside of what you just get for leveling up, now you can learn new cantrips the same way. Essentially, is what this is saying. So that's cool. Blade singing. This is awesome. I love blade singers. I loved them back in 3rd edition. It's like the whole gish, like magic blades using spells and swords, and so it's definitely a high elf drow thing. But I think if I was ever a player, not that I ever get invited to be a player in other people's games that may or may not be going on. If I was ever a player, a blade singer would definitely be a kind of a cool character to play as. Okay, Order of Scribes. Magic of the Book. That's what many. What is this? Order of the Scribes? Aren't all wizard scribes? I'm just kidding. What is this? It's a primary mission, the same everywhere. Magical discoveries. As a bonus action, you create a tiny quill. The magic quill has the following properties. It doesn't require ink. It produces ink in a color of your choice. So we found Amanda's class because she's all about all for different colored like gel pens and stationery. So here we go. Unlimited gel pens in whatever color you want. The time you must spend to copy a spell equals 2 minutes per spell level. Wow. That's awesome. It's like, oh, a new spell? Done. You can erase anything you write with the quill if you wave the feather over the text as a bonus action. That's awesome. I mean, it doesn't really do anything, but it's good stuff. Awakened Spellbook. Ooh. You've awakened arcane sentience within your spellbook. When you're holding the book, it grants you the following benefit. You can use the book as a spellcasting focus. I thought you could do that already. Am I wrong about that? I must be, because it says specifically here that you can. When you cast a wizard spell, you can temporarily replace its damage type with a type that appears in another spell in your spellbook. Neat. So if you have Fireball and Lightning Bolt, and you prepare Lightning Bolt, you can change it to like a Fire Stream instead. That's cool. This is really cool. And then, that's neat. Because it's any damage type. It's not just like the ladder spell must be the same. Oh, okay, so the ladder spell must be. Yeah, for some reason I thought wizards could use their spellbook for a focus before, but I guess I was wrong about that. Maybe that's from a previous edition holdover. But anyways, it's fine to do it for this. This is cool. I really like this ability. I think this is really cool. So if you can get like, even if it's a spell that you're not normally excited to get, just the fact that, like, say you get like a necromancy spell And it's like, well, I'm not going to cast this. I don't really see my character casting this. But if you have like I go back to Fireball, but if you have a Fireball and then you have like Vampiric Touch in your spellbook, it's like, well, I have this ability, and then you say a Fire Elemental comes out. You swap, you can just be like, well, Vampiric Touch does necrotic. I'll just cast the spell through my book and just replace this glyph with this one from boom, and it's a necrotic ball. Good stuff. Anyways, when you cast this wizard spell as a ritual, you can use the spell's normal casting time rather than adding 10 minutes. What? Okay, once per long rest. Whew. I was gonna say that's nuts. It's so good, but that's okay. See, it's only once per long rest. It's balanced. I thought that was just like anytime you use rituals. I'm like, okay, so you just get rituals as normal spells in combat? What? I mean, most rituals don't do damage or any combat stuff, but I thought that, yeah, it's good. It's good though. It's balanced. Anyways, Manifest Mind. I'm spending a lot of time on this Order of the Scribes thing. You can cause the mind to manifest a tiny spectral object. So you get like a kind of a little dude. You can create a magic scroll. Ooh. Oh, it must be first or second level. Hope that goes up though. Once in the scroll, the spell's power is enhanced, counting as one level higher. You can cast the spell from the scroll as an action. The scroll's okay. You can. The golden time you spend to make scrolls are halved. Okay, so it essentially gives you an extra first or second level spell that is upcast by one spell slot. Once per day. I mean, sure. I mean, it's not bad. It's not like fantastic, but it's not bad. The 14th level Order of Scribes. Your connection becomes so profound your soul is entwined with it. You have advantage in all Arcana checks, sure. If you take damage when your spellbook's mind is manifested, you can prevent all damage to you by using your action to dismiss the mind. Then roll 3d6. The spellbook temporarily loses spells of your choice that have combined. Oof. For example, the roll is 9, spells vanish, combined level of 9, which could be 1/9, 3/3. Okay, so it's a get out of death free by burning spells out of your spellbook. Okay. Until you finish 1d6 long rest, you're incapable of casting the spells, even if you find them on a scroll. Oof. I mean, it's a last ditch effort to stay alive, so that's okay, I suppose. But that's a steep cost. Like, what if you roll 18? Well, shit, I just can't cast spells for 1d6 long rests. Ugh. I mean, hopefully you know enough spells in your spellbook that the idea, I guess, is your spellbook is quite buffed and you got a lot of extra spells and things so that you can burn the ones you never use. But yeah, as a capstone, it's kind of meh. I mean, Advantage on Arcana is pretty good, but yeah, I don't know about this one. The rest of the class up to that point, I was like, yeah, this is cool. This is a neat subclass. I like it. Up to here, then I'm like, I like the flavor of it, but I feel like there could be something more. I don't know. Something more, or maybe get rid of this 1d6 long rest. Like, you can do it once and you burn your spell slots to stay alive. That'd be okay if you got them back on a long rest. But waiting 1d6 long rests, I don't know about that. And not even be able to cast them on a scroll, that doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, moving along. Okay, a new feat. So we've gone through all the class abilities. What's the new feats? We got Artificer Initiate. You can learn cantrip. You can cast first level spell. You gain proficiency with arts and tools. Okay. Chef. Well, Baz, don't you want this feat? Be a chef? You get a con or wisdom score by 1. You gain proficiency in cook's utensils. As a part of a short rest, you can cook special food, provided you have ingredients and utensils. You can prepare enough food for a number of creatures to go to 4+ proficiency. At the end of the short rest, any creature who eats the food and spends a hit die to regain hit points regains an extra 1d8. With 1 hour of work, when you finish a long rest, you can cook a number of treats equal to your proficiency bonus. These treats last for 8 hours. A creature can bonus action to eat one of these and gain 10 hit points. This is a cool feat, actually. I would say this is on par with the, well, not quite because of the combat applications, but this is nearly on par with the bonus healing as the healer feat. And for a campaign that has slow natural healing that requires hit dice and less long rests because of the overland travel rules, etc., Chef is actually pretty good. It's pretty good. It's also very thematic when it comes to Baz's character. But anyways, I don't know if he'd be interested in this, but I would keep it on his radar, in my opinion. It seems very thematic, and it's pretty good. Moving along, Crusher. You are practiced in the art of crushing your enemies. Practiced in the art of crushing your enemies. I just love the wording of that. The art of crushing your enemies. Increase your strength or con by 1. Once per turn you hit a creature, you can move it 5 feet, provided the target is no more than one size larger than you. You score a crit. Roll attacks have advantage to the start of the next turn. Ooh. It seems a little weak, to be honest, but it's thematic at least. Like, you move a guy 5 feet. It's good if you're like on a bridge or something, knock him off the cliff or whatever. But abilities that, I mean, it is good if you get a crit. All attack rolls against that creature kind of like mini stun him for a round. That is actually pretty good. Eldritch Adept is like to become a kind of like mini Warlock. Fey Touched makes you a mini Eladrin. Fighting Initiate makes you a mini fighter. Gunner, you have a quick hand. Firearms. Well, this won't be in my campaign because we don't have firearms. Meta Magic Adept. You learn 2 meta magics. You can use meta magic option. When you also you become a mini sorcerer. Piercer. You gain strength. Hit. You can re-roll an attack's damage dice. You can scroll crit. You can roll additional damage. Ooh, that's pretty good for archers. That's a pretty good feat for archers. I mean, archers, there's so many good feats for archers, but this is pretty good for archers. Get additional crit damage on hits. I mean, it doesn't have to be archers, but it's pretty good. They use piercing damage most, that's why I say that. Poisoner. Oh, here we go. Scaxius. He needed this 2 campaigns ago. Oh, this is good. Ignore resistant to poison. Apply it as a bonus action. And potent poison, which is more powerful than the standard pH poison. Neat feat if you like poison. Shadowfell magic. You learn invisibility. And a first level spell. Necromancy, blah blah blah. Cool. Skill expert. You gain skills. You gain expertise in the skill. Cool. Slasher. You slash people. You reduce the speed of targets. That's neat. You grievously wound it and give them disadvantage. Neat. Telekinetic. Move things with your mind. Get Mage Hand cantrip. You cast it without verbal or somatic and it is invisible. And increases by 30-foot range if you already know the spell. Cool. You can shove creature. I mean, and telepathic, you can mentally connect with others. Okay, it doesn't give you the ability to bypass languages. That's good. Oh, and so you can talk to people, but you can't talk. They can't talk back. Interesting, and you can detect thoughts. Neat. I'm not a big psionics fan, but ooh, look at that picture. That's cool. Look at that throne. This is like Queen Mab, or like Shadowfell Court for sure. Look at these guys, little red caps. That's a cool. Anyways, that's a cool picture. Um. Oh, a group of wizards pledge themselves to their patron, Tasha the Witch Queen. Oh, so that is Tasha. Oh, neat. Group patrons. So let's see. Is this something that I might want to use? I've not read the patron rules. Each adventuring group is bound together by the quest it embarks on the dangers its members face together. This chapter offers a way to bind your party together through a group patron. These patrons provide a strong binding element, an individual or organization that unites the party as a team for a greater purpose. Set the tone of your party's entire campaign. So I wonder if I use this, I wonder if Candlekeep, the Department of Archaeology, would be a decent patron, since you guys are sent here for a purpose. And yeah, like for example, a group whose patron is an academic institution is likely to have a different story from a group that serves the military. During character creation, every player has the opportunity to weave connections between the character and the other members of the party. Rather than, or in addition to, creating a web of established relationships, players can work with the DM to choose a group patron. I mean, sure. Oh, if you're interested in being your own patron, you can be your own patron. Okay. So what does this do? The following section represents several group patron options. With the input of your DM, you can customize the patrons to reflect specific establishments in the campaign world or to serve as a launchpad tailored to organizations. For example, the group patron could represent the Harpers, the Zentarum, Guild Nebron, blah blah blah. Having a group patron gives an adventuring group a common purpose. As a result, each member of the party can grant advantage to an ability check, an attack roll, or a saving throw of another member of the party. To grant advantage, a character and the chosen target must be able to see and hear each other. Neither can be incapacitated. Once a party member grants this advantage, the individual can't do so until they finish a long rest. It's a... As a result, each member of the party can grant advantage. But does it take an action? Is it free? If you use this in combat, is it free? An ability check, an attack roll, or saving throw. And grant advantage. Man, could they not have actually, like, stated how this works in combat? I would assume that it would take your reaction to do this, because the idea is you're giving them assistance. I would say on your turn, if you wanted to grant it in advance, it would be a bonus action, and if you wanted to grant it, actually that might be the way to go. Make it a bonus action on your turn to grant to their next attack roll, saving throw, or ability check. I think it's too good if it's free. Like almost every other ability that allows this takes some sort of action or reaction. Like how are you just free? Do you have a telepathic bond? Like how is it free? I think you'd have to devote some attention to doing it. Especially if it was as a reaction. Like it says can grant advantage anytime, out of turn, on your turn, as a reaction to something happening. Like it's just free whenever I want, whenever. Like that's it. Yeah, I wouldn't just say this is free whenever. Like I think it would have to be either you have to do it in advance, and I wouldn't make it an action. That's not good. It's not good. But I would say maybe as a bonus action you can grant it. Like there's literally a legendary helm that Ryan had that essentially did this 3 times. Yeah, it was 3 times per day, but he had to do it in advance. He couldn't just do it whenever for free, and to give it to the entire party. Yeah, I don't know about this. I would have to look up what they mean. In combat, this seems too good. I don't mind it like outside of combat if it's a free action. Like, oh, someone's making an ability check. It's kind of like giving the help action. Like that's fine outside of combat. The entire ability check thing is not a big deal. But the attack roll or saving throws, there's got to be some sort of action economy cost, or that's too good. Yeah, exactly. If it's an action, it's not good, right? Like as an action, it's like that's what the help action does. So I would say it's a bonus action on your turn I would probably even allow as a reaction, like for saving throws, because you don't know when they're going to make a saving throw, right? So I would say as a bonus action on your turn, you can grant them to their next saving throw or attack roll or ability check, or as a reaction, which you probably only ever use for saving throws. That's how I would rule it, because then there's some sort of cost to it, or some sort of. Because the thing is, action economy is key in combat, and just giving free actions to everybody whenever, even out of turn, is just. It's just. I know it's only once per long rest, but still, it's just a free extra advantage whenever they want. I don't know. I'm not a fan. At least I'm not a fan of how they've written it. The perks. A group patron offers your party a number of perks. They range from standard business arrangements such as a steady wage, staff facilities, to extraordinary boons such as audiences with powerful figures or exceptions from certain laws. Specific perks are presented in the description of each group patron. The DM should not feel limited to providing only the perks. Patrons give party access to solutions they wouldn't have otherwise. Blah blah blah. This is RP stuff. But still, it doesn't matter how often it is. It's a free advantage for the entire party to one of these three things. If it's free, it's too good in combat. It needs to have at least a reaction or bonus action cost. Because otherwise, how do you even explain it? Like, it's just like, oh, I can see you, so I telepathically, like without even using any sort of reaction, a fireball comes streaking out of the sky and hits you, and without me even bobbing my head in your direction, you suddenly have advantage. Like, it's no. Um. Okay, the DM should not feel limited to providing only the perks. Okay, assignments. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it should be a reaction, or you can preemptively give it as a bonus action. So it's kind of like you can give someone like the help action as a bonus action once per rest. That's fine. And reaction on a saving throw makes sense to me. Because you can't use it on the enemies, right? Like, and why would you give them advantage? Well, I guess if you wanted to, you could give them advantage on an attack roll as a reaction. Like if you have, I don't know why you would do that as a reaction. Like, I mean, if it's a situation where someone really needs to hit. Anyways, whatever. Assignments, they often you missions, blah blah blah. This is all RP stuff. Okay. So an example patron, an academy, a guild, an ancient being, criminal syndicate. Okay, so what do they give? So academy. This would be like Candlekeep, right? Academy. Yeah. So types of academies. There's a table. What do we got? We can roll on this. Boarding schools, arcane enclaves, secret monasteries, vault of secrets, museum of dreams. Sure. Roll or pick. Blah blah blah. Here's some guys casting spells. Perks. Yeah, yeah. Academy perks. With an academy as your group patron, you gain the following perks. Compensation. The academy pays for the work you do on its behalf. Almost like they would give you a chest of 300 gold at the start of the campaign to pay for your expenses. Are we already using the patron rules? Okay, on average, the academy pays each member 1 gold piece per day, enough to sustain. Alternatively, you receive a bounty of 250 gold for artifacts or discoveries. Okay, sure. Documentation has identification denoting your affiliation with the academy. I thought about this actually, separately. I think your character at least would probably have some sort of documentation showing that they're with the library. If you don't have that on your character, it would make sense to me that you would have something that like actually identifies you as a member of the Candlekeep, like on an official expedition from them. Whether anybody cares about that if you presented it to them, I feel like that's something you would have at least. Um, yeah. By the way, documentation. This is also what that the Flaming Fist, the Charter of Exploration. This is exactly what it's talking about. See, such documents grant you special status such as access to forbidden regions. Is standing and embattled in a land frequently plundered by foreigners. Your documents could mark you as nothing more than a looter to some. Cool. Research. Research is part of your group's job, but your patron also has abundant resources. You can call in a favor to researching lore. You're responsible for covering expenses incurred. Okay. So basically, you can have downtime research happening in the background without you doing it. That's neat. I think we've always RP'd that kind of stuff, but in this campaign it might be a little difficult because of the distances. But if you really wanted to courier back something to the academy and be like, hey, can you look at this and send it back? Yeah, it might be months till you have a reply, but at least it's something that can be going on while you're off adventuring. Resources. Academies host libraries, museums, record repositories. It's hard to have these kind of things when you can't get back there. Training, extra training, you can train, blah, blah, blah. Academy contact, well, that would be that dude that I gave you his name that sent you. Academy factotums. If you have an academy as your patron, you're likely to engage in scholarly pursuit or support someone who is. Consider being a promising student or a new member of the faculty. It's kind of like what your background is. While you have a modest course load that you handle behind the scenes, your primary interest is aiding in your contact in their research. Okay. Academy quests. Well, you have a quest. Okay. So we're basically almost using this already. There's not much in here that you don't already have set up as just through the use of your background. Okay. Ancient being. Look at this guy. Look how ancient he is. Azalin the Lich spies on Castle Ravenloft. Yeah, I'm not going to go through all of these, but what else we got? The Aristocrat. Oh, so this would be if you gained the patronage of like one of the merchant princes, maybe aristocrat. Would they be aristocrat? Maybe. Yeah, heads of scheming merchant families. Yeah, this could be something that maybe I might look into. What kind of stuff do you get? Expenses? Yeah, okay. Immunity. As long as you remain in their good graces, you are nearly immune to prosecution under the law. Yeah, that's neat. When they're the ones that make the laws. You get additional luxury, stays, maintain an aristocratic lifestyle at no cost, and potentially a salary. Contact. Okay, neat. Quests. Criminal syndicate. Yeah. What is this hat? My beholder cap and my fish. Ott Steeltoes holds aloft Silgar, the infamous fish of the Crime Lord Xanathar. Guild. Yeah, I know. They're so dumb looking. Guild type. A hero fights the Bullywug. The villainous master of the Baker's Guild. A hero fights the Bullywug, who guards the villainous master of the Baker's Guild. I need to know more about this story. Okay, anyways. Military force. What is this? Look at this guy. He's only got one leg. I know it's just perspective, but it looks really weird. His face is way too wide. He looks like a friggin' gremlin. And he's way too happy. Anyways. Military force. Religious orders. Acolytes prepare for a Quattle festival. I like this picture. This would fit right into Port Nyanzaro. With the flowers and the jungle in the background. This is the Temple of Sune. There we go. That's what it looks like. Moving along. Sovereign. Ooh, Fish King. I'm the Fish King. Look at his little circle of fish around his head. It's a neat picture. I like it. Agents of a Sovereign. Be a jester. Being your own patron. What is happening? Fails. Oh, they're doing gymnastics. He failed really badly. For some players, the idea of running a syndicate or a collective or an organization is more exciting. When you're the boss, the perks and expenses. When you run your own, blah blah blah. So, I mean, being your own patron kind of falls into the strongholds and followers rules, I think. So I don't know if I'll use a being your own patron. Okay, what else? What else we got in here? We're in chapter 3 now. We're getting through this. Magic Miscellany. That's totally Gratz, by the way. Oh, it is too. Tasha confers with the Demon Lord Gratz through the magic mirror. Gratz. What a guy. Okay, what else? What magic stuff? We got new spells. The spells section contains new spells may add. If you'd like to use these spells, talk to your DM, who may allow some, all, or none of them. Well, let's see. I'm going to go through these spells and say yes or no if I'm going to include them in my campaign. Here we go. Spells are presented in alphabetical order. Blade of Disaster. 9th level Conjuration. Bonus action. Concentration. You create a blade-shaped planar rift 3 feet long. The blade lasts for the duration, which is up to a minute. When you cast a spell, you can make 2 melee spell attacks, each one against a creature, object, or structure. On a hit, they take 4d12 force damage. So far, the equivalent damage of the Mordecaian sword. The attack scores a crit if it's on an 18 or higher. Nice. On a crit, deals 8d12 force damage. Holy shit. As a bonus action, you can move the blade 30 feet and make 2... Oh, so you get 2 attacks with it every turn. So it's like spiritual weapon on friggin... No, it's like Mordecaian sword on steroids. It can pass through any barrier, including a wall of force. Oh my god. Blade of Disaster is fucking awesome. It's so good. Yeah, okay. This one's in, if anyone ever gets to 9th level. It's a cool spell. I really love like the Mordecaian sword spell. I think it's great. This is souped up version. Boom and Blade. Yeah, okay. We know what that does. That's fine. Dream of the Blue Veil. 7th level Conjuration. 10-minute cast time. 6-hour duration. You and up to 8 willing creatures within fall unconscious of the spell's duration and experience visions of another world. If the spell reaches its full duration, the visions conclude with each of you encountering and pulling back a mysterious blue curtain. The spell ends and you mentally and physically transport to the world that was in the visions. To cast the spell, you must have a magic item that originated on the world you wish to reach. You must be aware of the world's existence. Alternatively, cast a spell as born. The spell ends early and the creature isn't transported. If you take damage, the spell ends and then you're transported. Infinite number, so you can travel through the multiverse. Okay, so I will say this spell is not in my campaign. I don't think I would put this in. It's a campaign breaking spell to be able to just go to Eberron. No, it's not. It's not a plane shift. That's the thing. It's the multiverse. It's not the plane. I know it's no. Oh, we'll just go to Eberron now. Like, I know it's a thing and Sigil's a thing, but unless you're playing like a Planescape campaign where you're dealing with those things, I'm gonna take this level 7 spell and fuck over the whole my DM's entire world by transporting my entire party to Eberron. We're now. Good luck making a new campaign. Yeah, I mean, like if you're wanting that in the campaign and it's based on going to different worlds, then sure. I mean, and it does require you to have something from that, which isn't an easy thing. So I shouldn't say it's not in my campaign. I would just not give you those items to be able to go there. Unless I wanted you to. So, yeah, exactly. So unless you have something or someone from another part of the multiverse, which as a DM I could just not give you something from Eberron if I don't want you to go there. So yeah, I mean, it's totally in the DM's control because of the material component. But technically, according to the spellcasting rules, it doesn't have a gold piece cost, so you can just ignore that if you have an arcane focus. This is bullshit. I wouldn't allow it. Yeah, I think the Lady of Pain would have something to do with it. She'd probably have a problem with this spell. There's a reason that Sigil in the City of Doors exists to travel the multiverse. Anyways, Green Flame Blade. I don't know. See, the problem I have with this spell, I'm just gonna go back to it. It's not really a problem with the spell itself. Like, it's fine what it does, but okay, so it's like this spell is so contingent on the DM, like just writing in the ability for you to use the spell, that you might as well just have like a ritual that's not a spell that you take as one of your spells known as a class. Like, you might as well just write it in as like a special ritual event thing that doesn't take up one of your like precious spells known. You know what I mean? Like, it's because how often are you going to cast it? I guess if you're in a campaign where you're constantly hopping back and forth, then this is good because it gives you the ability to do so. But it's so super specific. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. Green Flame Blade. That's good stuff. Intellect Fortress. This is a great spell. One action, concentration up to an hour. Gain resistance to psychic, advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. You can target extra creatures. I do like Intellect Fortress. I think it's a great spell. It is concentration, but if you're going up against Mind Flayers, you want Intellect Fortress. That's for damn sure. They spelt it wrong. Intellect Fortress. Yeah, it is a good spell. It's also one of the few spells that gives you resistance to psychic damage. So if you're in one of those campaigns where psychic damage is a problem, this is good. Lightning Lure. Evocation Cantrip. One action. Range self, 15-foot radius. You create a lash of lightning energy that strikes a creature. The target succeeds, pulls 1d8 lightning. Neat. If you're like a caster type that wants to be in melee with things and like control the battlefield, like maybe you got the Sentinel feat and stuff, I could see this being a cool spell to use. Mind Sliver. Oh, that looks painful. You drive a disorienting psychic spike. The target must succeed an int saving throw or take 1d6 psychic damage and subtract 1d4 from the next saving throw it makes. Spells. Wow, it's a cantrip? Wow, it's a good cantrip. A psychic damage cantrip that also banes them for a saving throw for a round. Whew. It's an intelligence saving throw too, which means it's really good against low intelligence creatures. I mean, obviously, that's the point. But that's a rare saving throw with a rare damage type. This is a fantastic cantrip. In fact, I would say this cantrip is one of the best. I know it's less damage, obviously. It's only a d6 in damage. So it's a poor damage, but the fact that it's a very difficult to resist at all, and it gives like this negative debuff. That's good. It's really good, actually. I like it. I would take it. Mind Sliver, good stuff. Spirit Shroud, a bonus action self concentration 1 minute. You call forth the spirits of the dead, which flit around you. They're intangible and invulnerable. Any attack you make deals a d8 extra damage when you hit a creature within 10 feet. This damage is radiant, necrotic, or cold, your choice, when you cast the spell. Any creature that takes this damage can't regain hit points, so can't heal it. In addition, any creature of your choice you can see that starts within 10 feet has speed reduced. Neat. It's a neat spell. I mean, the fact that they have to be near you and its concentration but it is a bonus action to bring up, so I don't mind it. I think it's kind of cool. Summon Aberration, 4th level Conjuration, 1 action material. Ooh, an eyeball in a platinum inlaid vial worth 400 gold. 90 feet concentration. Call forth an aberrant spirit, manifests in an unoccupied space. Uses one of these stat blocks. Oh, it's a template. Eye raise does psychic damage. Okay. So it's a little aberration that fights for you. It's a summoning spell. Cool. Summon Beast. Gilded Acorn. A fishtail inside a gilded acorn. That's not specific enough. This summons... Why is this one only worth 200? Oh, because it's lower level. Okay. You summon a beast spirit. Okay, cool. Summon celestial... Let me guess, you summon celestial spirits. Neat. Big naked guy comes and beats up your enemies. Cool. Summon construct. Ooh, this is a spell that you need. You can summon metal constructs or clay constructs. Beat people up with them. Golem or a Modron. If you want more constructs. Summon elementals. Sure. Beat people up with elementals. Fae. Beat people up with Fae. Fiends, beat people up with fiends. Shadowspawn, beat people up with Shadowfell monsters. I'm sensing a theme here. You can just summon, like, thematic creatures. Summon undead. Perfect. Summon skeletons to beat people up with. Yeah, no. Everybody in the party needs to take one of these and just constantly summon things and slow things down. Sword Burst. Conjuration cantrip. You create a circle of spectral blades sweep around you. AoE 5 feet, dex save or force damage. Neat. It's an AoE force damage cantrip. That's cool. Take that as a blade singer. I would totally take that as a blade singer. Spectral blades running around. Run into packs of monsters and like slice them all down with force damage. It's good stuff. Tasha's Caustic Brew, 1st level evocation. Concentration, 30-foot line. Stream of acid, 30 feet, 5 feet wide. Each creature must succeed on a dex save or be covered in acid. Unless it uses its action to scrape it off. It takes 2d4 acid at the start of each of their turns. That's cool. It's like Burning Hands, but acid in a line instead of fire in a cone. It's not instant damage, but it's a little bit lower than Burning Hands damage. I think Burning Hands is like 3d6 fire on a dex save. This is 2d4 acid, but if they don't scrape it off and lose their turn, they're going to take another 2d4. So 2d4 is not a lot. It would take like 2 or 3 rounds for it to catch up. But it is acid damage, which is lower resistance. It does hit everything in a line. It is concentration though, which isn't the greatest, but it could do up to 20 die 4 acid damage if they don't stop and lose a turn. So this is a pretty decent spell actually. This is a pretty good spell. Like there's no saves after the first one, right? That's what makes it good. Like yeah, so dex save or nothing, so it's pass or fail. But if they fail, yeah, they're going to take ongoing damage, or they're going to waste their turn scraping it off. It's good because it's like a trade-off of constant damage with no save, or lose an action. This is a neat spell. If you can hit more than one target with it, of course, obviously it's the ideal, but yeah, ongoing 2d4 at first level is not too bad. Okay, Tasha Mind Whip. 1 action, 1 round. You psychically lash a creature, intelligence saving throw. 3d6 psychic, can't take reactions until the end of its next turn. On its next turn, it must choose to get either move an action or a bonus action, only one of the 3. So it's like a mini slow. On a successful save, the target takes half distance damage done so. So yeah, it's like a mini slow that it's like a combination of Shocking Grasp, a 1 round slow, and psychic damage. For a 2nd level spell and an intelligence saving throw, this is pretty good. Tasha Mind Whip. This is a pretty good spell. I like it. Tasha's Otherworldly Guise. 1 bonus action. 6 level spell, concentration, 500 gold pieces. Uttering an incantation, you draw on a magic. Transform yourself. You gain the following benefits. You're immune to fire and poison. Okay, you choose one, lower or upper. You're immune to fire and poison, or you're immune to radiant and necrotic. You're immune to poisoned or charmed. Spectral wings, flying speed, 2 AC. All your weapons attacks are magic, and you make a weapon attack, you can use your spell casting instead of strength or dex. Cool. You can attack twice instead of once when you take the attack action. You ignore this benefit if you already have a feature like extra attack. Is this good? Is this a good spell? I don't know about this spell. It's concentration, and it's giving you... Yeah, it's giving you some immunities to the most common damage types. Upper planes is definitely better than lower planes. I mean, obviously it's contingent on what you're fighting, what you're doing. But upper, this is just better. Radiant, Necrotic, and Charmed is way better than Fire, Poison, and Poison. Flying speed is good, sure, but Fly spell does that. 2 AC, okay. You can attack twice with your... But still, you're in combat then, and it's concentration. Yeah, I guess that's true. Fire and poison are more common damages. But radiant and necrotic can be more devastating damages, usually. I don't know. I guess they're about equal. I don't know. I don't know if this is a good spell. I can see niche uses of the spell, but I feel like because it's concentration, like you would almost require Warcaster to have this work for you. Otherwise, you're just gonna lose it, right? And you can't. It's only self only. It's not like you can buff someone else with it. It's a bonus action, sure. I don't know. I don't know about this spell. I don't know if it's good enough for a 6th level spell. I feel like it's lacking something. Like the best part of it's obviously the immunities and the fly speed. The rest of this down here, I feel like you may not even use. Yeah, you can't buff anybody else. You can buff yourself. And most casters that are like built for like fighting in combat are usually half casters or like multi-classes. So by the time you get a 6th level spell, I just don't see it being that useful. I don't know about this. I think it's kind of weak. Personalizing spells. What is this? You can make spectral acid chickens. Yeah, it's kind of like a bit of everything, but at the same time it's concentration. So you might get hit once and lose it. Just as every performer has their art, you can cosmetically change things. You can make magic missile. Can't change the effects of the spells. You can develop... So it's basically saying flavor your spells. That's always been a thing that I've done. I highly recommend people do flavor their spells. In fact, I think that's something that I might just like say to you guys. Like if you're casting your spells, like don't just take them stock out of the book. Like try to make your spells unique to your character, because everybody manifests spells slightly differently. Not everybody's magic missile looks like 3 bolts of pink like daggers in the sky. Some people might have spectral chickens. Like this could be magic missile, right? In fact, it is. Hurls magic missiles that look like chickens. That Noel is gonna get smacked in the face. Magic items. Who doesn't love magic items? Everybody loves magic items. Oh, we got some artifacts in here. I'm excited. Okay. Let's look at the magic items. Magic tattoos. This might be useful for Ryan's character. He wants to do tattooing stuffs. So we got common, uncommon, rare, very rare, and legendary. This is how much of your body it takes up. Magic tattoos are initially bound to magic needles. Once inscribed, when blah blah blah. Okay, so essentially you're limited amount of tattoos you can have based on how much of your body's covered in it. Makes sense. What do they do? Okay, here's the magic items. Absorbing tattoo, wondrous item tattoo, very rare. Requires attunement. To attune, you place the needle, blah 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 blah. What does it do? The damage resistance. Well, the tattoos on your skin, you have resistance to the damage type associated with the color. Or you can roll. Why would you roll? You would choose one. Ooh, you can get psychic or force resistance from this. Neat. Damage absorption. When you take damage of the chosen type, you can use your reaction to gain immunity and regain hit points equal to half damage you would have taken once per dawn. It's not rest. It's not linked to rest. This is important. It's the next dawn. So this isn't a long rest. It has no bearing on it. If you use this at midnight, whether you rest or not, you're getting it back at dawn. So that's important to keep to note on the magic items. Okay, so you can absorb things. Neat. Alchemical Compendium, wondrous item. Wizard only. Okay, this book's metal fittings, blah blah blah. Book contains some spells. Here they are. It also functions as a spell book. You can use it as a spellcasting focus. The book has 3 charges, gains them back at dawn. If you spend a minute focusing, you can spend a charge to replace one of your prepared wizard spells with a different spell that's in this book. The new spell must be... Okay. Oh, that's neat. So if you come into a situation where, oh shoot, Featherfall is really important, I didn't prepare it today, if you have this book, you can just swap it with a charge. As an action, you can touch an object, spend charges to transform it. For 1 charge, the object can be no longer. You can spend additional charges to increase the dimensions. The new object must have a gold value equal to or less than the original. Okay, so you can just transform things. Like, oh, we need an axe, not a sword. Boop. I mean, I don't know how good it is, but neat. Oh, the multi-tool. Wondrous item. Plus, oh, it's an Artificer tool focus thing that has a +1 to 3. Okay, so it's like the Packkeeper rod, but for artifices. Choose a cantrip you don't know from any class list. For 8 hours, you can cast the cantrip, and it counts as an artificer cantrip. Neat. Neat. Amulet of the Devout, +1 to 3. It's a cleric or paladin item. Symbol of a deity inlaid with precious stones. You gain bonus to spell attack rolls and saving throw DCs of your spells. Whew. That's good for an amulet. +1 to 3. While you wear this amulet, you can use Channel Divinity feature without expending one of the feature's uses. Wow, neat. That's a great item for cleric, especially since it doesn't take your weapon slot. A lot of the +1 to 3s for spellcastings take up your weapon slot. It's like a staff or a rod or a tool or something you got to hold. This allows a cleric or paladin to have a sword, shield, whatever, and just have an amulet that buffs their spells and gives them more Channel Divinity. This is a good item. Really good. Arcane Grimoire. 1 to 3. While you're holding it as a spellcasting focus, you get so basically it's a book that is a focus. But again, you're going to have to hold it. But this is great. In addition, when you use Arcane Recovery, you can increase the number of spell slot levels you gain by 1. So that's neat. Even as an uncommon +1 book, that's a good increase. That's nice. Gimme. Astral Shard. Wondrous item rare. Sorcerer only. Solidified Shard. As an action, you can attach the shard to a tiny object or detach it. It falls off if your attunement ends. You can use the shard as a spellcasting focus while you wear or hold it. So you can just attach it to your chest or like your head piece or something. When you use meta magic while you're holding it, immediately after casting the spell, you can teleport. Wow. Constantly, no limit. Astral Shard is fantastic. It gives you Misty Step every time you meta magic. Only 30 feet, but that's still really good. There's no limit. Nice. This is, well, it means obviously it's limited by the amount of meta magics you use, but that's really good. Astromancy Archive Wizard. This brass disc, blah blah blah, is bonus action. You can unfold it into a sphere or back into a disc. It contains spells. Oh, it's like a spell book as well. While you are attuned to it, you get a bunch of spells that don't work very good in this campaign. It functions as a spell book for you with spells encoded on the rings. Blah, blah, blah. You can spend a minute, replace this. This is a divination spell book. Okay. Oh, and look, here's a teleportation spell book. I get what they're doing with these. When you I want to see this. When a creature you can see makes an attack, oh good, it's lucky. I'm never giving this book out. Atlas of the Endless Horizons. When you hit when you hit an attack, you can use reaction to spend a charge to teleport a whopping 10 feet. Oh, it's like shield. It goes off before the attack. Oh, Atlas of the Endless Horizon. That ability is great. It gives you three reaction charges that don't use spell slots that are better than shield as long as you're out of range of the attack. So it's not like shield. It doesn't work against like ranged attacks, but against melee attacks you can just teleport just out of range 3 times a day. That's really good. It's better than shield because there's no chance it hits you as long as they don't have a 10-foot reach. Of course, it doesn't do anything if they've got reach, but if they've got multi attack, it's even better. It's like if they use it on the first one, teleport, it misses you. I guess of course if they still have movement, they could just move up to you and attack again. So it's not as anyways. If they move their full movement and then attack you, you can negate their entire turn. Anyways, this is cool. This is neat. Oh, what else we got? Baba Yaga's Mortar and Pestle. It's an artifact. Oh, this is a lot. I don't think I'm going to read the whole artifact. The Night Hag Baba Yaga. Okay. I'm not going to read the whole artifact, though. Barrier Tattoos. What does this do? Gives you armor class. You can use a shield. You set your base armor class. Wow, you can get a base armor class of 18 with a very rare barrier tattoo. And then lose your dex mod. That's still really good. Bell Branch. What is this? As a bonus action, you can spend charge in the presence of things. If they are present, it rings a bell. Okay. You can get protection from good and evil. Cool. Blood Fury Tattoo. This is what Sean had. It gives you a bunch of necrotic damage. Hit people back and stuff. Bloodwell Vial, +1 to 3, Sorcerer. What does it do? Spellcasting focus plus bonus attacks, blah blah blah. In addition, when you roll hit dice to recover hit points, you regain 5 sorcery points. Wow! Oh, it's once per day. That's still really good. Cauldron of Rebirth. Use this as spellcasting for druid spells. Functions as a suitable component for scrying spells. When you finish a long rest, you can use it to create a potion of greater healing. Lasts for 24 hours. As an action, you can cause the cauldron to grow large enough for a creature to crouch within it. You can revert the cauldron to its normal size. Okay. You place the corpse of a human in the cauldron and cover it with 200 pounds of salt for 8 hours. The salt is consumed and the creature returns to life as if by raised dead at the next dawn. It gives you raised dead within 7... Whoa. So, as for 8 hours and 10 gold, once per week, you can raise dead. Holy shit. Unlimited. There's no limit. It's once every 7 days, but it's only 10 gold pieces instead of 500. Or is it 500 raised dead? It's the raised dead spell. Holy. And it gives you free potion of healing, potion of greater healing every day. Wow. Okay. Druid and Warlock only. Coiling Grasp. Grasping Tendrils. 14 blah blah blah. Does force damage and grapples. Yeah. Crook of Rao. There's a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to read the artifacts because it's going to take me forever, but Crystalline Chronicle Wizard. That's a neat looking thing. What's it do? When you touch in the crystal, you can retrieve and store information and spells within at the same rate as reading and writing. When found, it contains spells, so it's like a spell book. Functions as a spell book. When you're holding the crystal, you can use it as a spellcasting focus. You know Mage Hand, Mind Sliver, and Message if you don't already know them. 3 charges, 1 to 3 at dawn. You can spend a minute studying the information. You can spend a charge to replace. So it's a spellbook thing. When you cast a wizard spell, you can spend a charge to cast the spell without verbal, somatic, or material components up to 100 gold pieces. Ooh, neat. Without verbal, so it's a subtle. 3 times per day you can subtly cast and ignore material components up to 100 gold pieces. Wow. This is pretty good. Demonomicon of Igwilv. Yeah, the Demonomicon. That's so cool, that book. I love it. Does a whole bunch of bad things, I bet. Devotee's Censor. Oh, it's a Censor Flail thing. You can use it as a flail. Does an extra radiant damage. Holy Symbol. And you can heal people with it. Neat. Manuscript. I want all the wizard books. This book is a magical spell book. It gives you a bunch of illusion spells. Got charges, and you can swap out illusion spells. When a creature you see makes an intelligence investigation check to discern the true nature of an illusion spell you cast, or make a saving throw against an illusion spell, you can use your reaction and expend a charge to impose disadvantage. It's pretty good. Eldritch Claw Tattoo gives you Eldritch Claws. Elemental Essence Shards. What are these? Look at these. These are neat looking things. Far Realm, Feywild, Shadowfell Shards. This crackling crystal contains the essence of elemental plane. Roll a d4. What's a d4 do? Oh, it gives you elemental essences. It gives you like fire and does extra stuff on your spells. Far Realm Shard. Cause a slimy tentacle to rip through the fabric of reality and smack someone. Psychic damage and frightened. Neat. Feywild Shard. You can use the shard to get a wild magic surge. If the result is a spell, it is too wild to be affected and normally requires concentration. Okay. Fulminating Treatise. It's another spell book. Oh, this is the evocation book. So you get a bunch of spells, and what does it do? You can swap your evocation spells. When a creature you see takes damage from an evocation spell, you can use your reaction to expend a charge to deal extra force damage and knock the creature prone. No save. Just knock him prone. Bam! Neat. Oh man, that's great against flying creatures, because flying creatures that are not knocked prone fall from the sky if they're not like magically levitating. That's actually really good. You could, oh man, you could magic missile a flying creature. So you don't even have to roll to hit, no save, and they just take the magic missile damage, 2d6 extra force damage, and get knocked out of the sky. It's so good. This is fantastic against flying foes. If they don't actually have like a hover. And it gives you, in case you didn't already have it, it gives you magic missile. I love it. It's only 3 times per day, but it's funny. Ghost Step allows you to step through and do force damage. Tattoo. Guardian Emblem. What's this? It does 3 charges. When you or a creature you see suffers a crit while you're wearing this, you can use your reaction to turn the crit into a normal hit. Ooh, Guardian Emblem is good. It gives you the Grave Cleric ability to negate crits. It's good. Heartweaver's Primer. Oh, here we go. This is the Enchantment Book. What does it do? So you get stuffs, and then swap out enchantments. When you cast an enchantment spell, you spend a charge to impose disadvantage on the first saving throw. Okay. That's good. Illuminator Tattoo. You can write with your fingertips as if it were a pen. Okay. Neat. Librum of Soul and Flesh. Oh, here's the Necromancy Tome. Oh, gives you a bunch of necromancy spells. You can swap them out. And as an action, you can expend a charge to take on the semblance of undeath for 10 minutes. For the duration, you take on a deathly appearance. Undead creatures are indifferent to you unless you have damaged them. You also appear undead to all outward inspection, and your spells which determine the status. The effect ends if you... So you can basically do the thing like in The Walking Dead where they covered themselves in gore and just walked through the zombies and they just all ignored them. I don't know how often that will come up, but it also gives you, essentially, as long as you're not attacking those creatures, if you're fighting like a necromancer and his undead minions, you could use this to have his minions ignore you, and you can have immunity to them as long as you don't attack them, and then you can focus on the necromancer. It's kind of interesting, actually. Or if you're like doing buffs and stuff instead of attacking, it essentially gives you the sanctuary spell almost against undead. It's better than it seems. Life Wallet Tattoo gives you a death ward. Neat. And resistance to necrotic. Luba's Taraka? Oh, it's like a tarot. Okay. It's a deck. Neat. I'm not going to read it all. There's a lot. Lyre of Building. You can do mending and get some spells. Masquerade Tattoo. You can disguise self with your tattoo. Mighty... Oh, here we go. This is your ultimate item. The Wondrous Artifact. The Mighty Servant of Lyoko. Look at this guy. He looks so mighty. Two creatures can be attuned to the servant at a time. If the servant's... What? Two creatures can be attuned to the servant at a time. If a third tries to attune, nothing happens. Attuning to the artifact requires 2 hours, during which you must be inside the servant. Oh my god, it's a mech. You literally ride in a mech. 2 people can be inside of it. While crew members are attuning themselves, any creature at 25% to be accidentally targeted. Okay. So you can get in with a Thieves' Tools or a Knock spell. You can exit by spending 10 feet. Inside you have total cover. While you're inside, you can command it. During your turn, you can command it by moving up to its speed. As an action, you can command it to take an action. You can provoke an opportunity attack. You can use your reaction to make a destructive fist attack. Upon his death, the mighty soul of the warlord Luko was drawn into the artifact. Oh my goodness, it's a sentient creature with a soul in it. Ghost in the Machine. Once every 24 hours, the servant takes an action while uncrewed, so it can just randomly punch and destroy things. If the servant loses half its hit points, they must succeed in a wisdom saving throw or be charmed and go on a destructive rampage. Okay, this could be dangerous. Self-Destruct. Oh man, I wish I had this for the Vonendad. That would have been a cool creature to use for the Vonendad. Self-Destruct. You can explode. If the crew members successfully implement the explosion after the end of the third round, every creature in a 100-foot radius centered must make a 25 dex save. On a failed save, they take 25d6 force, 25d6 lightning, 25d6 thunder. On a successful save, they take half. Objects and structures take triple damage. Creatures inside the servant are instantly slain and leave behind no remains. This does not destroy the servant. Rather, 2d6 later, the pieces drop from the sky in random places within 1,000 miles. If brought within 5 feet, they reconnect and reform. Wow. So you can self-destruct and kill the crew to do a ridiculous amount of damage and destroy everything in the radius. And then all the pieces go flying and they within 1,000 miles. They just go all over the place. This is totally the Vonendod. Remember they were looking around for the pieces everywhere? This is the Vonendod. If I had only known. Oh. Destroying the servant. Okay, so what's its stat block I need to see? So it's got 22 AC, it's got 310 hit points, it's got a speed of 60, a strength of 30, a dex of 14, con of 20, an int of 1, wisdom of 14, charisma of 10. Its resistance to piercing and slashing, it's immune to acid, bludgeoning, cold, fire, lightning, necrotic, poison, psychic, and radiant. Immune to all of those, holy shit. It's immune to blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, grappled, incapacitated, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, restrained, and stunned. It's got a blind state of 120 with a passive perception of 19. It understands the only languages that it knows. Holy crap, this thing is tough as balls. The servant is immune to any spell that would alter its form, so no polymorph, or send it to another plane, so you can't gate it, or plane shift it, or anything like that. You can't banish it. Jesus. Magic resistance. It has advantage on saving throws, and spell attacks against it are made with disadvantage. It regenerates 10 hit points at the start of its turn. Always. This trait doesn't function. Oh, if it's reduced to 0, it doesn't regenerate from 0. Okay. Unless you blast it with lightning, and then it starts again. It can leap 50 feet high and 25 feet across without a running start. It doesn't require air, food, drink, or sleep. Holy shit, this thing. Okay. Its actions are Destructive Fist, a plus 17 10-foot reach, 4d12 plus 10 force damage, or a ranged weapon attack, plus 17 ranged 120, 4d12 plus 10 force damage. Objects take triple damage. Or it can Crushing Leap. If it moves at least 25 feet, it can use its action to land on its space. Each of the creatures are pushed in 5 feet and must make a 25 or take 4d12 bludgeoning or knock prone. This thing is freaking crazy. Moonsicle. Sounds like a popsicle. A Moonsicle is a druid or ranger thingy that gives pluses to spell castings. And when you cast a spell that restores hit points, you can roll a d4 and add the number to the amount. Cool. It's a healing sickle. Nature's Mantle. It's neat. Leafy. You can blend in. You can hide as a bonus action. Neat. Outer Essence Shard. What's this do? Uses shard spellcasting. Roll a d4. What's it do? Oh, it's like Lawful Chaotic Good. Does a bunch of different things. This is the Teleportation Codex, or Conjuration Codex, I should say. So it does all those things, and then you spend a charge to grant a creature advantage on attack rolls for a minute. Oh, or only for a summon that you create. Okay. Okay, so you create a creature and it's got advantage. That's pretty good. Prosthetic Limb. Okay. It's a wondrous item. Common. It replaces a body part. Neat. Protective Verses. It's a wizard. This is the Abjuration one. You can touch the book's cover and cause it to lock as if you arcane locked it, so people can't open it. So it gives you abjuration spells, swap them out. When you cast an abjuration spell, you can spend a charge to grant a creature you can see 30 feet, 2d10 temp hit points. Not bad. Items for bards, pluses to skills. You can use auto-resistible dance. You can gain extra bardic inspiration. Blah, blah. I'm just moving through some of these. If anything catches my eye, Spell Rot Tattoo gives you some spells that you can cast out of it. Teeth of... Oh, look at that. Tooth of Dalvernar. A cool looking dragon. I don't know what kind of dragon that is, but it's a big artifact that I'm not going to read. Okay. Whew. What are we at? I'm at 2 hours already. Jeez, I've been digging into this for a while. New books. I love it. Okay, so Dungeon Master Tools is the last chapter. What is here? Will I use any of these? Here's a bunch of tools you can use in your toolbox. Session 0. Oh man, if I only had this book a couple sessions ago. That's fine. I know all about Session 0, and this is all stuff that's really good. I highly recommend everybody to make a Session 0. It's very important for making sure everybody understands the campaign and their party roles and how they fit together and how they know each other and blah, 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 and the social contract, etc. Hard and soft limits. What is a hard... yeah, whatever. This is like... maybe you shouldn't have these topics in your game if people aren't... comfortable with it. Yeah. Game customization and house rules. So this is all the stuff we covered in our Session 0. So yeah, that's cool. It's cool that they finally put it in a book though. Sidekick system is a way to create like DMPCs or like alternate creatures that the players can control and stuff. I mean, it's just another way of playing a... It's like NPCs... Or if someone wants to play a... Like, if you have guest characters, I guess the sidekick rules work really well. Like say someone wants to play for just a session or two, you could introduce a sidekick that's a very simplified character that's either expert spellcaster or warrior, and then they can play that for a couple sessions. It's super fast to make them without having to learn an entire class. So they're cool. They're useful for those kind of purposes. I don't think I would ever use these abilities or these things. But it does allow someone to jump in without, especially even in a high level campaign, you could jump into like a level 12 campaign, just make a level 12 sidekick. Oh, I want to play wizard. Okay, make a level 12 spellcaster rather than going through the whole process of leveling up to level 12 in a wizard. Like it's neat. I can see it being useful. Hey, look at Dordle, a Kinku, and a winged kobold. So it's going to go through the experts is like the skill monkey sidekick. The spellcaster is obviously the spellcaster. Look at that bullywug. Why is this goblin in a 2/2? Anyways, doesn't matter. Spellcasters, pretty straightforward. And then you got your warriors. We got an Asimar, a Furbolg, chef, and a wolf. I want to play a wolf. I want to play a wolf. Okay, here you go. You're a warrior sidekick. Parlaying with monsters. Parlaying with monsters. Meeting a monster doesn't have to spark a fight. An offering like food. Adventurers can research what a creature is likely to desire. Okay, so it's got like research, random tables. Okay. I could see myself using some of these, maybe, in certain situations if someone's trying to like communicate with an ooze. Adventurers are offering meat to an owlbear. Look at this thing. Owlbears. Crazy. Environmental hazards. Ooh. Environmental hazards. Like what? Supernatural regions. Soon. Okay, so they're like blessed radiance. Upper planes touches this region. This is really good in like a Eberron campaign where the planes like move about and become closer and further away from the material plane and cause like areas of like intense magic. So like if the upper planes touch the region, you get like bonus spells and like critical hits against fiends and things. I'm not going to go through them all, but if I had an area that was like this, I might look into these rules more. Seems pretty cool. A haunted manor. Look at this. That's crazy. This dog. Dog is not having a good time. What have we got? Ooh, an infested city. Look at those webs. Look how many spiders are in this city. I don't want to go there. A tailor shop in a mirror zone. Oh geez, his images are attacking him. Awaken anything. An awakened bear talks with an awakened eagle outside of giant mushrooms in the forest. Unraveling magic. Oh, this would have been good to use with the whole mythos things that we had on the Fair's Rest and stuff. Source of magic is damaged or corrupted. It's like wild magic effects and stuff. Neat. Magical phenomena. An Eldritch Storm. Look at this thing. I need to attack you guys with a gigantic Leviathan of bone next time you're on a ship. With a skull cloud coming in after him too. Yeah, sounds good. A Flaywind. A Flamestorm. A Necrotic Tempest. Good. I like them. Emotional Echoes. Powerful emotions echo through time and create different things like love and sorrow and inspiration, fear, hatred, doubt, boldness. It's good in the campaign that like focuses on like emotions as like magic power or like traumatic events and stuff. It's good. Enchanted Spring. What can you do? Bathing in it covers the creature in a glowing coat of golden feathers. While the creature isn't wearing armor, they gain +1 to AC. Okay, neat. Magic mushrooms, of course. Of course, you need to have magic mushrooms that you can eat. Mimic colonies. Oh man. Mimic colonies. Look, everything's a mimic. The chair, mimic. This chest, it's a mimic. This barrel, that's a mimic. The house, it's a mimic. This plants, mimics. Teapot is a mimic. They're all mimics. What is this? Primal fruit? Oh, I might use some primal fruit stuff. I'm sure that, look at this, there's flying cats eating primal fruit. Unearthly roads. Falling, oh, natural hazards. Falling into water. See, this scene has to play out at least once in our campaign. Avalanches, falling into water. Falling onto a creature. Well, they finally gave rules for falling onto a creature. If a creature falls into the space of another creature and neither is tiny, the second creature must make a DC 15 Dex save or be impacted. Any damage result from falling is divided evenly between them. Ah. Falling into water. Spell equivalents of natural hazards. Ah, so it's saying if you encounter one of these, you could use this spell to reproduce it. Like a flood, a tsunami spell. A lava bomb. Fireball, lightning, meteor, mirage, a pyroclastic flow, St. Elmo's fire, toxic eruption, volcanic lightning. Neat. Neat. Puzzles. Ah, puzzles. I love puzzles. Puzzles can be fun. I like puzzles. Creature paintings. Oh, these are different puzzles. Okay, I'm not going to look at these because I might actually think about using some of these. So hopefully my players don't go and read all these puzzles in this book. Just in case I might want to use one of them or two. But yeah, okay, I think these are all puzzles. Yeah, puzzles. Material components. Oh no, this is puzzles as well. Puzzles. Okay, what else is in here? Is it all puzzles? Yeah, it's all puzzles. So that's the end of the book, is puzzles. Well, that was a lot. Okay, so let's take a step back on Tasha's. So overall, this is a really good book. The character options are good. They seemed mostly balanced to me. I liked them all. A lot of customization, a lot of flexibility is added with this. Group patrons seem like it could be a cool thing to get a bit more structure into how your groups are together. The magic spells and additional magic items seem pretty cool, especially the class-based ones. The Dungeon Master tools, as a DM, I like what they've done, especially with the hazards and the puzzles. I'd have to read the puzzles if I really like them. And yeah, I say this book overall, if I had to rate this book, I would say I would probably give Tasha's like probably a 9 out of 10. It's a good book with good stuff. Artificer class is in here, which is fantastic. If you're not playing Eberron, you finally have it without having to buy the Eberron book. Yeah, 9 out of 10. I think Xanathar's I probably give like an 8. I actually think I enjoy this book more than Xanathar's. I find there's a bit more in this. It is obviously, it's got a good balance between player and DM material. I think it's useful for almost anybody, actually. And definitely a book you want to pick up near the start of a new campaign, because does have a lot of stuff that is based on character creation and like early level flexibilities and stuff. So getting those in early, I think, would be less jarring than trying to incorporate it later. But that doesn't mean it's bad or couldn't be used in a campaign that's already ongoing. But I just think it might be a bit harder to use some of these options and suddenly have like established characters that you've been playing a very long time suddenly swapping out their subclasses and shit. But I still think it's really good to have the option. So yeah, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, 9 out of 10. Good stuff. So that will be the end of my in-depth look at / sort of review. It wasn't really an in-depth review of everything. I don't know how well everything's balanced. It's just kind of like, let's look through it and see what we think of all the different chapters. I thought it was really good though. So that's the end of the review. Just a reminder, if you that we do DM, or I do DM a game every Sunday, nearly 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch. So you can go to Twitch TV/Pinwarp2. Sessions, if you want to catch up, we just started. We're just going into session 3 of our Tomb of Annihilation campaign. So if you want to check out the session 0 character creation stuff, or sessions 1 and 2, those are up on YouTube right now. If you want to catch up and get in on the ground floor of a new campaign and watch that, go to youtube.com/pinwarp. And yeah, if you like this, you can toss the channel a follow and turn on notifications. You'll see when I go live. I don't do a lot of streams outside of the D&D streams on Sundays, but I do occasionally do things like this when a new book comes out. I might post a review and that kind of thing. So appreciate it, and I will talk to you guys all later.